Good afternoon, family. This is Dr. Kia Pruitt. Check in and let me know if you can hear me, please. Welcome. It's been a while. Today is Tuesday. It is August the 26th, 2025, and the time is 12:08 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. Please check in and let me know if you can hear me. Welcome.
Shining wisdom's light, teaching soul tribe how to see through the night. Ancient scriptures and bloodlines she knows, spreading truth wherever she goes. Soul tribe rising, hear her call, raising vibrations for one and all. Dr. Kia shows the way to a brighter, freer day. Through her channel, knowledge flows, breaking chains that hold us close, teaching paths to abundance and wealth, guiding others to free themselves. Soul tribe rising, hear her call, raising vibrations for one and all. Dr. Kia shows the way to a brighter, freer day. From currencies to investments divine, she's helping her tribe to realign with wisdom, ancient and new, showing what we all can do. Soul tribe rising, hear her call, raising vibrations for one and all. Dr. Kia shows the way to a brighter, freer day. Soul tribe rising, hear her call, raising vibrations for one and all. Dr. Kia lights the way to a new and brighter day.
All right. Hello, Soul Tribe. Welcome, family. Can you all hear me? That was the theme song for the Dr. Kia Pruitt show that one of our Soul Tribe members by the name of Brother Kenneth wrote for me. He told me not to share his whole name, but I'm so grateful for him. And I'm grateful for you all being here. Please check in. Let me know that you all can hear me. Chief Mack is in the background, and he'll be joining us shortly. But first, I just wanted to give you a brief update on what's been going on. What's going on with me is that I'm well. I am thriving. I love you all so much. You're saying you love me. Thank you so much. As you all know, I've taken a hiatus, and many of you have called and checked in to see about me. I appreciate you. Thank you. You've left email, you've left messages, you've called Chief Mack to check on me. Thank you. Some of you have sent me a Cash App blessing here to my Cash App. Thank you so much. I appreciate it. And you've asked me how I've been doing. Well, I've been removed from YouTube for like the eighth or ninth time. I can't even remember. And I don't think I've done a live podcast for about a month or more because I've been removed from YouTube. And I thought this was an opportunity to take some time to rest and to focus on what I need to do for myself, getting my mind right, my heart right, as Chief Mack always tells us, for this greatest wealth transfer that's going to happen for us in history. And I took some time to just spend time with family. YouTube removed my channel for, I don't know, they say it's spreading false information because, as you all know, we give breaking news. We give the intel fresh off the press. As a matter of fact, I'm going to tell you about some intel that just came out that says that we're going to expect something huge to happen on September the 1st. And I'm telling you, I announced this like 2 months ago, but I announced it to my Soul Tribe membership group that Trump was going to release trillions of dollars, $150 trillions of dollars from a secret trust. And when I would give information like that, I'd be flagged on YouTube because this wasn't information that was put out to the masses. So I talked about the secret trust that was going to be released, and I'm going to show you that article. I'll also upload the video on my Rumble channel, maybe on this new YouTube channel that I just started that hasn't been monetized because they won't let me go on YouTube anymore to monetize. I was able to like start a 9th or 10th channel, but under a different name. I think I did Dr. Kia Pruitt, the matriarch, and it's not monetized. So I'll upload it on that YouTube channel, and I'll upload and on my Rumble channel. But there's information about gold backs that I've talked about on YouTube. I talked about how the whole world was returning to the gold standard. Before people were talking about it, I've spoken about how almost all states have reclaimed silver and gold as money. And I've been doing that for since 2017. But I started talking about gold in 2014. And this is why I'm censored across all social media platforms. I've been banned from almost all of them, but I keep reapplying because God commissioned me to do this work. But I'm going to share with you some wonderful news, some breaking news. Chief Mack is in the background. He told me to go ahead and give some information about the news before he comes on. So keep checking in. Yes, I've talked to Chief Rod Hayes. I can bring him back on a little later. He does have wonderful information and knowledge, but we have Chief Mack today. So we're going to give him his time and his due respect as well. So keep chiming in, family. Thank you so much for joining me. I know this might be a little last minute, but Chief Mack said you really need to come on and let the Soul family know how you're doing because people have been concerned about you. Like I said, family, I've been banned from social media. And so I took a hiatus and said, I'm going to use this as an opportunity to just focus on me. Also, I heard, this is crazy, but I heard people were reporting my channel, people both in the Patriot community and not in the Patriot community. Some people I've had on my show have reported me. Some people have called other people and said they didn't understand why I got breaking news first. And I even heard people were doing witchcraft on me and the channel. That's crazy, like witchcraft and black magic. But you know what? When you are chosen of God, you are star seed, and you know that you are God, and you are source because source abides in you, and you are God incarnate, whatever they try to do will not work. Why? Because energy or reality bends towards frequency. So the reality that you desire, not the reality that somebody else wants to have for you, the reality that you desire will bend towards your frequency. There are many different realities that exist in the multiverse or the universe, whatever, however you see it. But which the one that will be attracted to you and the one that you will allow into your life is the one that resonates on your frequency. This is why you have to make sure your frequency is high vibrational, it's positive, it's full of life, it's full of godliness and goodness and purity, because all that abundance that's supposed to come to you will bend towards your frequency, and it will not only resonate with you, but it will be brought into your life. I talked about that on one of my videos about how this is the golden era and how reality bends towards frequency, and how this is why a lot of us are about to receive our wealth. And that video was taken down from YouTube right before my channel got removed. They don't want you to know that you know that you are God. Okay, source or God is energy. All you have to do is tap in. Why must you tap into God or source? Because source embodied itself in flesh in order to have an experience called the human experience. So source or God or light or high vibrational frequency abides in you so that source or God can experience the human reality. Again, God or source is just a frequency. It resides in you. All you have to do is to tap in. Also, remember, reality bends towards frequency. A lot of people continue to receive and experience hardships, trouble, trials, tribulation, poverty, violence, because the frequency, our energy, was resonating on that type of vibration, because we will watch low vibrational television shows. We would listen to low vibrational music. We would receive low vibrational news. Also, the powers that be, or the custodians and Anunnaki that control this earth plane underneath this dome, they would put up sigils. Sigils are symbols, words, or whatever, or logos, but symbols up all over the place. Those sigils they would put in pyramids, which are also places for you to transport. And they were portals. Some of those pyramids are portals. They put up sigils in their logos. You will see different signs with sigils or symbols in them, not only in the news, but on placards or outside or in front of restaurants, all that. Those sigils bend energy. Okay, they create certain vibrations. So the way you can make sure you don't receive those type of vibrations in your body is to reject them. Don't pay attention and create your own symbol, your own family crest, your own symbol, sigil, or some type of symbolism or picture, whatever that represents you and what you desire in life. Create your own sigil, put it up in your living room, in your bedroom, take a picture of it, or make it a small picture, put it in your wallet, and that sigil will create a certain vibration, but it's coming from you. Okay, so if you desire wealth, then you create a sigil or a symbol that represents that wealth. Then you think about it and imagine how amazing you feel having that wealth, and express your gratitude for having that wealth. Yes, and that will raise your vibrational frequencies. Create sigils, create music that's high vibrational, or listen to high vibrational music, listen to high vibrational words, listen to high vibrational podcasts, speak to high vibrational people, and then your vibration or your frequency will be raised to such a high level that the reality that you desire will bend towards your frequency, and you will receive and experience wealth, abundance, love, joy, and peace. Remember, the scripture says, whatsoever things are lovely, whatsoever things are pure, whatsoever things are good, whatsoever things are of a good report, think on those things. Why? Because when you think on those things, your vibrations become high. You're operating as the God that you are. And the scriptures do say you are God in Psalms and in John. You will operate as the gods that you are. And everything that you desire that's high vibrational will come into your life. Remember this. If you don't remember anything else that I've said, one, you are God. You are God or source experiencing this reality. You are God having a human experience. And two, reality bend towards frequency. So if you've been experiencing a lot of hardship, poverty, etc., it's because either your frequency is low based on your choices or what you've been watching, eating, doing, thinking, or whatever, and or because your frequency is low based on what the powers that be have done by giving you poisonous food, giving us poisonous water, giving us poisonous images in TV, media, mainstream media, music, etc. Reject it and create and listen to high vibrational music, thoughts, words, read high vibrational books, etc. And that will change the whole frequency of your body. Also, to change your frequency, eat monoatomic gold, colloidal silver. Eat raw living fruits and vegetables because your cells need living foods in order to repair itself. Consider fasting. That means going or abstaining from food, drinks, sugar, salt, all those things that poison your body and bring your frequency down. Fast from meats, especially if they haven't been prepared right. Fast. Talk to your practitioner or even your highest self or your creator, whomever, and ask, how long do I need to abstain from food? This way, when you're fasting, your body repairs itself, your frequency raises. In church, they will tell you the more you abstain from food or junk food and media, violence and all that, and bad music, low vibrational frequencies, the more you do that, your flesh or carnality decreases and the spirit man, the highest part of you, increases. So reality bend towards frequency. A lot of us have awakened to the fact that we are God, we are source, that we can manifest anything we desire. All we have to do is raise our thoughts and raise our frequencies. And because of that, because of this great awakening, nothing can stop us. Everything that we desire is happening. Wealth is happening. Okay. Let me show you proof of that. Thank you so much for continuing to check in. You guys know I love to talk, and it's been a while since I've spoken. I'm going to bring Chief on, but just hold on. I'm going to share with you some of my information, and here are my notes. The first thing I want to talk to you about is massive wealth. According to an article that has just come out, President Trump has said that he may release massive wealth. And that September the 1st could be the day to experience that. Massive wealth transfer could begin September the 1st. I reported on this to the Soul Tribe in my private group that I used to have on YouTube before they completely removed my channel. And what I did was I uploaded it as a video called Trump Will Release America's Secret Trust. And I also said in that video, plus consider these new investments that nobody's talking about. I was talking about Syria, Lebanon, the Congo, and all these other nations are on my main channel in front of you all and in my Secret Soul Tribe way before they started talking about this. And that may be one of the reasons why my channel was shut down. But who cares why it was shut down? We're talking now from my Rumble page, my Twitter page, and my Facebook page. So come on in, family. Keep checking in. Yes. Thank you so much. Rich Pritch says, do not forget to get your silver from Andy Sheckman. I appreciate you saying that. As a matter of fact, I was going to talk about that. I had a banner on here. If you desire silver and or gold, thank you, Rich. Make sure you contact Andy Sheckman from Miles Franklin Precious Metals Company. You can call them at 952-929-7006 or send an email to info@milesfranklin.com. Mention that Dr. Kia Pruitt referred you, and you will, I promise you, get the best prices in the industry. Andy Sheckman has been on our show many, many times. They've been in business for almost 4 decades. That's 40 years almost. They've sold billions and billions of dollars in inventory, and they have an A+ rating with the Better Business Bureau. So why did Rich Pritch mention gold and silver? Because the whole world is rushing to gold and silver. I've been talking to you all about that. You can check out a King's World article, kingsworld.com, that says the whole world is hurtling back to gold as money. We've also talked about how more than 46 states have legalized silver and gold for legal tender. They passed legislation to use silver and gold as money. I've been talking about this since 2014. One of the times I was talking about this on my channel while I was talking about how we need to return to gold and how you need to go to Andy Sheckman, with whom I'm an affiliate, to get your silver and gold. While I was talking about that a couple years ago, YouTube cut my video in the middle of my speech and took down my channel. This has happened so many times. But again, if you want silver and gold, contact Andy Sheckman, milesfranklin.com, or make sure you call them. I think it's more personable to talk to them or send an email. They'll get right back to you, tell you what they have in inventory. You can even let them know, listen, I want to spend this amount of money. What do you suggest I get? whether it be silver and gold bullion coins, or you might want to roll over your IRA or your 401 or your 403b into a gold or silver IRA, or you might want to take the gold and silver and store it. They do also have storage units. So contact Andy at Miles Franklin by calling them at 952-929-7006 or send an email to info@milesfranklin.com. That's info at milesfranklin.com. So let me just briefly go over the news so Chief Mack can come on and encourage the Soul family. Chief Mack is the chief of the Soul tribe. Many of you have called him to learn about how to operate outside the jurisdiction of the United States Incorporated, and many of you have created trust with Chief Mack. He'll talk to you about how those trusts are going and how you can operate in the private like the wealthy do, because you all are wealthy. So listen to this. I'm going to upload the video that I did on this. I reported on this months ago before it came out. This was just published. Let's see. I don't have the publication date, but I just saw it today. I believe it was published today. We'll get to when it was published, but here it goes. Government Insider, massive wealth transfer could begin September the 1st. Here it is. It says, mark your calendar. September the 1st, 2025, which is just in a week, could be the most important date for American investors in over a century. That's when the government could begin the largest release of national wealth since Lincoln's Homestead Act of 1862. Jim Rickers, who is a former CIA advisor, treasurer, and an advisor to the Treasury and the Pentagon, revealed the stunning details in an emergency presentation that's sending shockwaves throughout Washington. They said he just revealed it. He actually revealed this months ago. And again, I reported on it then. What Trump has set in motion defies belief, Rickers explained. He's also, Rickers is an economist, and he has a degree in economy as well. We're about to see a monetary event unlike any in history, preparing to unlock what he calls a national endowment worth of at least $150 trillion. This is Dr. Kia Pruitt talking now. Trump said under his first administration, I am going to release trillions of dollars into the global economy. So I'm going to inject trillions of dollars into the global economy. We reported on that when he said that during his first administration, and got some pushback because people was like, where's this money coming from? He can't do that. Well, now we see it. It's going to happen. That's enough money to buy every company on the NASDAQ, every private home in America, and every Bitcoin in existence, with trillions left over. But there isn't some government handout program. No, it isn't. This is about unleashing America's vast mineral wealth that's been locked up by environmental regulations for decades. Most people don't realize this, but the government controls 250 million acres of land, controlling world-class deposits of copper, lithium, gold, rare earth minerals, and more. Resources worth more than the GDP of every nation combined. And thanks to Trump's recent legislation, the first land series or sales could begin as early as September 1st. It seems that smart money is already positioned for this historic event. Warren Buffett's Berkshire Hathaway has been buying mining stocks. Another thing that Dr. Kia Pruitt is going to tell you is that Warren Buffett, and I reported this on my channel. I'm telling you, they don't want this news to get out. We reported this a long time ago. Warren Buffett got on his platform and said, get out of the United States dollar and invest in foreign currencies. I have videos on that. I can upload that on my Rumble channel, but not my YouTube channel, because that's what got me taken down. Here's the twist. Regular investors may have an advantage over the ultra wealthy in this situation. I'm going to tell you later on how you can get in on that investment. This article doesn't talk about it. I go into detail on how you can get in on it. Basically, what happened is that there was a lot of resources and minerals that were stored in different parts of America, especially the West. California has a lot of land and a lot of gold, a lot of minerals, rare earth minerals and metals that's stored there that the government control. Texas also has a whole lot of wealth and minerals and mining. What else? Nevada. Many of these places that um, what's the word, that a lot of people don't know about are controlled and owned by the government. Now, I would say they're probably really only controlled by people, but the government stole this land and these minerals through eminent domain. However, it's going to be released. In a video that I'm going to upload on Rumble, we're going to talk in detail how you can access those, because again, that was information that was only shared with my private group. So, we're going to go into detail about it. What happened was, this is reminiscent of the gold rush era, when the government stole land from the indigenous people and then gave that land to people that were homeless and didn't have anything. Not only Europeans, but people from all over the world. They said, hey, you can come over here and have free land. All you have to do is be the steward of that land, take care of that land. Some of them got it for like $5, $18 or whatever, but it was basically free. They were allowed to have that land, to even mine it. Okay, all they had to do was be willing to move. Now, this is disheartening for a lot of people that know their family really owned that land, but I'm going to tell you when I upload the video later how you can access that. Chief Mack is going to tell you how, if you know that land is yours, how you can protect it and maybe even claim it for yourself, if he has time to talk about that. So this land that I'm talking about, that has trillions of dollars of metals and minerals in it, that's controlled by the government, has been locked by the government. But remember, I told you about how the Chevron doctrine was overturned by the Supreme Court last year. When the Supreme Court of the United States overturned the Chevron doctrine, that not only downsized the government, that unlocked massive wealth that was owned by the government. It also means that now, in order for certain wealth to be unlocked, you don't have to go through a whole bunch of red tape, because the government has been downsized. This is why Elon Musk was tasked with coming up with the Department of Government Efficiency, also known as DOGE, to completely downsize the government and get rid of many of those governmental agencies. There are over 441 government agencies that have to be completely dismantled. Some of them will be kind of saved if they have any benevolent parts of them. Those government agencies like the FBI, the CIA, the CPS, Homeowners Association, Department of Defense, the IRS, any faction of those governments that could help we the people, now that we're operating in our sovereign capacity since our republic has been restored, will be rolled over into our republic. For example, the Department of Treasury now controls the IRS. The duties of the IRS, the Internal Revenue Services, and the Federal Reserve have been rolled over into the United States Treasury Department, because according to our republic, the only agency that can deal with money has to be the United States Treasury Department. So that's one thing. The second thing I want to tell you, and I've spoken to this on my public channel and mainly in detail to my private group, is that Syria, the country Syria, is now removing zeros from their currency and preparing for a currency revaluation. This happened after President Trump went to the Middle East and brokered trillions of dollars of wealth for the Middle East and for we the people in America and all over the world. Once that happened, Trump went and brokered those deals. He put sanctions on some nations and lifted the sanctions of other nations. And this is when I told people, look at some of these countries in the Middle East that Trump visited. Don't pay attention to mainstream media. They're not going to tell you this until months later. Trump was in the Middle East, months ago, maybe the summer, earlier in the summer or spring. And now here we are, the end of August. They're talking about Syria to revalue the currency, dropping the zeros. Take from that whatever you want to take, but I'll show you the article in 1 minute just to prove to you that this is true. And again, I've spoken about this, but hey, here we are. This was just released on the 22nd. exclusive Syria to revalue their currency, dropping 2 zeros in the bid for stability. When I reported on this, I said, whenever you see countries lopping off zeros for their currencies, they're preparing for a currency revaluation. Here we have the proof here. This is the basic summary. Syria will issue new banknotes in December. 2 zeros will be removed from the denominations. The change aims to restore confidence in devalued currency. As a matter of fact, the Syrian pound has lost 98% of its value, or had lost 98% of its value over the course of a few years or a few decades. If you lose 98% of your value, there's only one place to go up. One place to go, and that's up. Okay, that means there's going to be a revaluation. And when I would talk about revaluation, people say, don't say revaluation, say reinstatement. It's going to be reinstated back to what it used to be. No, it's going to be revalued, not just reinstated back to its pre-war, pre-sanctioned value, but you also have to give an account for the gold standard. Read King's World article that says the whole world is hurtling back towards gold as money. Also listen to podcasts and look at articles that says that the whole world have repatriated their gold from the Vatican back to themselves. Okay, so they're issuing out new gold banks. 2 zeros will be removed. This change aims to restore confidence in the devalued pound. I'm telling you that it lost 98% of its value. Therefore, it has to go up. This marks a symbolic move away from Assad's rule, and Russia's Gaznak will print new notes, sources say. So currencies are being revalued, not just in Iraq, not just in Venezuela, not just in Vietnam, but all over the world, family. So that's serious news, okay? Then another thing I want you to pay attention to is Lebanon. Israel has stated that they're leaving Lebanon. Israel controlled what was happening in the Middle East. This is why Israel was upset with Donald Trump. And I told you all, Israel will be saved for last. There was a triangle of power. You all know about the triangle of power, okay? But Israel, or the fake Jews, excuse me for saying that, the Khazarian mafia, whomever you want to call them, they controlled a great part of the world. So you had Soros, you had the Saudi princes, you had the bloodline families. That was called the triangle of power that had to be dismantled. And they all worked for the Khazarian mafia. Okay, which was Israel. And the Q movement has said for a long time, they're saving Israel for last. When you consider that Israel was upset with Donald Trump, and then a lot of people kept saying, no, he's friends with Netanyahu, he's friends with Israel. I kept saying, no, Trump is distancing himself, or the character playing Trump is distancing himself from Israel. How do you know that, Dr. Pruitt? I know because there was an article that came out when Trump was brokering deals in the Middle East that said Israel feels left out. Yeah, they were upset that Trump was brokering deals with the Middle East because Israel controlled everything that was going on in the Middle East. Okay, so now you have an article that just came out that says Israel plans to leave Lebanon. What does that mean? That means that the control that Israel has had over in the Middle East is now being dismantled. It's lessening. Netanyahu said that Israel could withdraw from Lebanon if Hezbollah is disarmed. When they say we could or we might or it looks to, know that it's already done. It's just that the people don't know it, and they're just trickling out information little by little. Okay. Israel is losing control. What does that also mean? If Israel is removing itself from Lebanon, Lebanon is becoming a sovereign nation. What happens when you become a sovereign nation? You control your government, you control your politics, you control your economy, you control your currency. Israel's Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu said on Monday that Israel forces could begin withdrawing from territory that they hold in southern Lebanon after the Lebanese cabinet's momentous decision earlier this month to work towards the disarmament of the military or militant group Hezbollah by the end of 2025. We're almost at the end. Okay, when is the revaluation of all these currencies going to happen? Now. And we can speed it up If we tell ourselves it's happening now and we resonate on that frequency that currencies are being revalued, if we resonate on the frequency that the whole world is hurtling back towards world peace, if we resonate on the frequency that the world is rushing back to a planet of sovereignty, freedom, and prosperity, if we know it, not think it, not believe it, but know it, because lie is in the word believe, Believe, but knowing is an assurance. Tell yourself it's happening now. It will happen faster. Why? Because reality bends towards frequency. So you desire for that reality, for all these world currencies to happen now, raise your frequency and know it and start acting like it, walk like it, dress like it, think like it, talk like it, praise like it, shout like it, express gratitude like it is already done. Netanyahu said if Lebanon takes the necessary steps to disarm Hezbollah, then Israel will respond with reciprocal measures, including a phased reduction of the Israeli militant presence in southern Lebanon. Lebanon is about to be free because the whole Middle East is free. But I'll do you one better. Lebanon is already free. Why? Because I said so. Okay, it's already done. How do you know? Because you said it. How can you be so sure? Because you're God. Read the scriptures in Psalms that says you are God. Read the scriptures in John that says you are God. Read how Jesus the Christ, the ascended master, says, no, you not. You are God's. Okay, words have power. Words cast spells. That's why they call it spelling. Cast your own spells. It's already done. Lebanon is free. Syria is free. You're free. I'm free. America is free. Africa is free. Africa has already announced that they're going to have one Africa. They're going to have one nation, one continent, one army, one military, one currency. Look it up for yourself because we don't have a whole lot of time here. Okay, the whole planet is free. Say it with your words. The planet is free. Countries have revalued their currencies. We're all wealthy. We're living in abundance. We have world peace, and start acting like it. There's a certain law that Neville Goddard talks about that's called the law of assumption. Whatever you assume to be true, that is what is true for you. If you assume that you're going to be impoverished, that's what you're going to live. That's what you're going to experience. That's how you're going to operate. That's how you're going to use your money in a poverty move. If you assume that people are discriminated against you because you're a Jew or because you're classified as Black or because you're a woman, that's what you're going to experience, because reality bends towards your frequency. Because if your frequency and vibration says, I'm always discriminated against, people don't like me, that's how people would behave. And even if it doesn't happen to the rest of the world, it's going to happen for you, because you're God. Whatever you say, think, feel, believe, or know to be true is what happens in your life. Even when you didn't know this, they would control your reality by creating movies, Hollywood, music, policies to make you think and act like you are not free, that act like you're a slave, and it becomes a self-fulfilling prophecy. So all of this has already happened, family. Why do you think they take away channels that express good information? Because they want to keep us they wanted to keep us at a low vibrational frequency, but it's too late. We've arrived. It is happening. We've reached the fifth dimension. You are already on the fifth dimension. You're already in the new golden reality. The Congo in Africa is shifting away from the dollar. Why are you mentioning that, Dr. Pruitt? This is another thing that I mentioned on my channel. And I said I was especially interested in the Congo because Newt Gingrich, who was a politician, wrote a dissertation for his PhD. That's a research paper that expressed why the Congo should be colonized. He's explicitly stated that the Congo is one of the wealthiest nations in the world, definitely one of the wealthiest nations in Africa, if not the wealthiest nation in terms of natural resources like gold, diamonds, cobalt, and all these minerals, resources that most people don't even know about is stored in the Congo, family. Okay, this is why Newt Gingrich said the Congo has to be colonized. That's why they've had so many wars over there. That's why a lot of people from the Congo, from that region, had to migrate to America, to Europe, and other places because they were seeking asylum from all the chaos and the colonization that was going on in Africa and other nations surrounding Africa. But the Congo just mentioned in an article that just came out that their central bank's new governor targets a shift away from dollar reliance in order to build a stronger franc, a stronger Congolese franc. That's their currency. They're shifting away from the USD and telling their people to trust in their own currency. That kind of reminds me of how the prime minister of Iraq, al-Sudani, in November 22nd, when he came to power in Iraq, said, stop trading with the United States dollar. Sudani in Iraq, when he came to power in November, and I reported this too as soon as he came to power, he said, I'm doing three things, because he said, the people who were in power before me didn't care about the people, but we tend not to do what they did on my watch. He said, I'm going to do three things. I'm shifting to talk about Iraq now, because a lot of you are invested in Iraq. He said, we're going to fight and end endemic corruption in Iraq. Number two, we're going to work with the central bank of Iraq to revalue the Iraqi dinar against the United States dollar. He said that in 2022. And he said, we're going to work with other countries to return our stolen money. I did a video where I talked about how he's done all those things. And I even showed all of the stolen money that he had returned, because he worked with not only his central bank, but countries all over the world. And he had all of his resources and gold returned back from the Vatican. So then Sudani did another thing. He took to his podium, and I reported on this. That's what another thing that got one of my previous channels in trouble. He said, stop trading with the dollar. If I find out that anybody in my country is buying up the United States dollar, trading the United States dollar, getting stuff from the black market, you're going to be dealt with off with your head. Then Sudani came to America, met with the powers that be, to talk about the Iraqi dinar being revalued against the United States dollar. They talked about their new trading platform. They made sure everything was secure. And al-Sudani talked to billionaires that were in Texas. Remember, Texas got a lot of gold and precious metals stored up. That's some of the wealth that's going to be revealed through Trump's secret trust that will be released as of September the 1st. And he said, billionaires that are in Texas, billionaires that are in Detroit, billionaires that are in America, come invest in my country. The Vietnamese president or prime minister did the same thing. And they all told their countries to stop relying on the United States dollar. And here we have the Congo doing the same thing. Governor Andre Wameso told Bloomberg he will prioritize restoring credibility to the Congolese franc and reverse decades of de-dollarization during his term. The second point, and I'm going to one more bullet point, 3 bullet points, is that the Central Bank of the Congo sold 50 million United States dollars on August the 18th, 2025, to calm foreign exchange markets and signal a shift from passive management. Thirdly, an IMF, or International Monetary Fund, 2024 consultation found that approximately 85 to 90% of bank loans and 95% of deposits were denominated in foreign currency, mainly dollars. They're shifting away from the United States dollar. This is huge, because if the Congo is shifting away from the dollar, and it's the wealthiest nation, one of the wealthiest nations in the world, and they have been under attack and under war, under colonization for a long time, and now they're restoring their freedom and their prosperity and their sovereignty, and they were under heavily controlled. That means, family, that the whole world is already free and doing the same thing. So stay encouraged, family. Keep your vibrations high. I'm going to ask your questions in a few minutes. Another thing I want to bring to your attention is Iraq. Let me show you something. I'm almost done. If I can find this, y'all gonna be happy to hear about this if you haven't heard about it already. Our troops are being withdrawn from Iraq. Now, I know that Trump had said we're staying in Iraq because he had to make sure everything was secure, okay? But look at this. Disclose TV. The United States suddenly decided to withdraw all of its forces from Ain al-Assad and Victoria military bases in Iraq ahead of schedule. Listen to this. We are removing our troops. We just announced this suddenly and ahead of schedule from Iraq, which means Iraq is free. The Middle East is free. Okay, because Trump has said we're not leaving until they pay us. We're not leaving until they pay us. But now we have an announcement that just came out on the 24th, which was just 2 days ago, that says suddenly we've decided to withdraw all of our forces and all of our equipment from military bases in Iraq ahead of schedule. Now, it does take time to remove things, but please remember, whenever they tell you they're about to or they just made an announcement, it's already been done. Tell yourself it's already done. We've already left them withdrawn. I don't care if you see a troop member there. It's in your reality, it's already done. And that's what will hasten the process and the progress. But can you see, family? The Iraqi dinar will soon be revalued. I want you to go to a YouTube channel called Maria Nichole. I hadn't followed her. She was following me on Twitter. I didn't even know. I was like, let me follow her. She did an interview with Majeed. You guys, I told you all to follow Majeed on Twitter, and it was beautiful because he talked about how the Iraqi dinar could and most likely will be revalued visibly by the end of August and definitely by September of this year. You know it has to happen anyway because this is the year of 9. 2025, 2 plus 2, 2 plus 0 plus 2 plus 5 equals 9. The year of 9 is the year of completion. That is the end of one thing and the beginning of a new thing. And I also, Princess Elizabeth, who controls the funds that will be released to humanity, like the St. Germain Trust, the Rodriguez Trust, and some of the other trusts, she told us that we are living in the year of Jubilee. So everything has to happen now. And remember, I've told you all that Zero Hedge published an article that talked about a Jubilee. And I've been talking about the Shemitah, the Jubilee, and how this is something that nations always do whenever you reach massive debt and you have, you owe a lot of countries or a lot of people owe you. You have to do a debt Jubilee where you let all the slaves go free. According to, and I grew up in the Hebrew tradition. My bloodline is actually Jewish or Hebrew, not Jewish, not ish, but Jew. And I keep the dietary laws, 7-day Sabbath. I grew up all my life keeping all the holy days prescribed in Leviticus 23rd chapter, even including the fasting. All my children have done it from the time they were in the womb. And so we know about the Shemitah. We know about the debt Jubilee. You're supposed to let slaves go free and forgive debt every 7 years. And then on the 50th year during the Jubilee, you have a huge celebration. Princess Elizabeth talked about it. I talked about it on my channel many times. I brought Andy Sheckman and Miles Franklin to also come and talk about the Shemitah and how this is something that we do in our tradition and how all nations do it, because it's not just a Hebrew thing. It's actually an ancient principle. It's not just a biblical principle, but it's an ancient principle that you have to give people relief. And this is why Zero Hedge came out with an article December the 24th, 2024, which is Christmas Eve, that says a debt jubilee of biblical proportions is coming. Are you ready? We're in the 50th year of the Jubilee. Were you supposed to have a celebration? It's going to happen, family. Get excited. In ancient times, people often became hopelessly indebted to their creditors. As debts mounted, social unrest would boil over, threatening the stability of the entire ruling system. So the rulers of the ancient world understood this dangerous dynamic that people are going to blow their tops off and start taking to the streets if you don't give them some relief. The solution was radical yet effective. Then what was the solution? Enact widespread debt cancellation, a debt jubilee. We're about to experience a debt jubilee of biblical proportions. Are you ready? Get ready, family. Interestingly enough, this was announced December the 24th on Christmas Eve 2024, the same day that the Pope opened the portal. Remember, he opened several portals around that time and he called it Jubilee portals. I reported about that on my channel as well. I'm almost done doing the news, family. but I just want to share this information, okay? What is the next thing I want to bring up? Make sure you pay attention to the gold and silver prices. Why? Because the whole world is hurtling back towards silver and gold. You guys know about BRICS. Brazil, Russia, India, China, South Africa, which is a coalition of nations that actually got together to disband themselves from the United States Incorporated's control and to leave the US dollar. That happened a while ago, but they became popular around 2018. I brought Andy Scheckman, the CEO of Miles Franklin, on my channel to talk about BRICS because I had been talking about it. And I was like, I'm going to bring somebody that sells gold and silver, that knows this information, that studies economics himself. He has a whole business to come and back up what I've been saying, because, you know, the scripture says, in the mouth of 2 or 3 witnesses, let every word be established. And he confirmed in 2018 that the BRICS bloc not only formed to coalesce against the United States Incorporated in the Federal Reserve central banking system, but they also tapped on the shoulders of other countries to join the BRICS bloc, the union, Brazil, Russia, India, China, South Africa. Because if you stop trading with the dollar and you use your own currency backed by precious metals, you can single-handedly destroy the Federal Reserve central banking system and the US dollar. Remember, what made the United States dollar the world reserve currency was our agreement with Saudi Arabia to protect the Saudi kingdom. Remember I told you about the triangle of power? Saudi princes, Soros, bloodline families, all working for the Khazarian mafia. What made the United States dollar the world reserve currency and therefore having dollar dominance and gave the United States financial and economic hegemony was our agreement with Saudi Arabia to protect the Saudi kingdom in exchange for their oil. All nations we would force to get oil from Saudi Arabia, and we would force them to use the dollar to do so. What gave the United States dollar financial and economic hegemony, what made them the world reserve currency of the world, was our agreement with Saudi Arabia to protect their kingdom in exchange for their oil. We would force the whole world to get oil from Saudi Arabia, and they had to use the dollar to do so. If they didn't do that, we would send sanctions to their nation, or we would send a war to their countries. We would fund both sides of the war, decimate their entire economy, their currencies, everything. Their currencies would plummet. They would live in abject poverty. Then America would go back into those nations, rebuild their economy and their infrastructure. The currency would be reinstated or revalued, but mainly reinstated back to its pre-war value. And the people who knew about this, that were in the know, would buy those currencies that had been devalued through war. Right after we sent a war to those nations or devalued them through sanctions, like military high-ups, presidents, prime ministers, banking conglomerates, banking CEOs, they would buy those countries' currencies that have been decimated through war, wait, hold on to them, okay, because a lot of these countries were thriving. Hold on to those currencies, wait till America go in and rebuild the infrastructure, and then when the currency would be revalued or reinstated back to its pre-war, pre-sanctioned value, those people became rich overnight. Millionaires, multimillionaires, billionaires. Now, Source, the creator, has made a way for we, the people, to have that knowledge, to be informed, and to know what to do to buy up those countries' currencies that have been devalued through sanction. Venezuela, devalued through war. Iraq, Iranian rial, Iran. What else? Name the nations. Afghanistan. We can buy those currencies that have been devalued. Hold on for dear life, or hodl, as they say in the financial arena. Hold, HODL, hodl, hold on for dear life. Wait until America goes and rebuild those countries and the infrastructure, and then the currency will be reinstated back to its pre-war value. But now it's going to go even higher than a reinstatement value because the countries have repatriated their metals and countries have unlocked their massive wealth. So now that we're in the know, all we're waiting for is an announcement that these currencies have been reinstated and revalued publicly. It's already happened behind the scenes. Why do you think Ghana came up with, they said years ago that they were creating, they were going back to the gold standard. They created their first gold coin. Why do you think Zimbabwe now has the Zim gold? You can go out and buy their gold backed currency right now. It's called the ZIG. They made these announcements because it's already happened. But we won't realize our investment in this reality yet, even though it's happened. We know it's happening, but you'll be able to actually have it in your hand once it trades on the Forex. Creator desired for us to know all this information. Okay. Lastly, I want to show you how Trump had said we already have billions of Iraqi dinars sitting in our accounts. Said that under his first administration. Okay, it's happening, family. He said we already have billions of their dollars sitting in our bank. And as an aside, let me tell you that America is reclaiming her place back as a top nation, as a sovereign nation, having our republic restored and being very, very wealthy. That's why Trump is releasing massive wealth, trillions of dollars of wealth, not just so you can be rich and I can be rich and we can get in the mining sector, because the whole country is now going to be wealthy and will be able to do business operating in the private with other people and other nations. Okay, this is one of the reasons why he had to get rid of MS-13 gang members, a lot of illegal immigrants that were here, that were a part of gangs that were bringing in drugs, violence, and other things, human trafficking and all that. He had to get rid of those elements in order to make America safe, which will then make the world safe. Now, these people push back by burning the flag, staging rallies and riots and protests. But President Trump just recently said, no go. We're not allowing that. Not only are we getting rid of illegal immigrants, and I'm not talking about people that's just here to make a living for themselves. I'm not talking about people that are trying to seek asylum because of the war that the United States Incorporated caused in their countries. I'm talking about people that are over here bringing in drugs. People that are part of MS-13 gang members that snuck through the border masquerading as Mexicans or just came through the Mexican border that came from Venezuela to cause a violence war here. These are some militants that were there disrupting Venezuela, that were disrupting not only Mexico, but other nations. They snuck through the border and they brought their behaviors with them. So a lot of the news was spin it to make you feel like you should hate or be mad at other people that don't look like you, that don't speak like you, that are immigrants or migrants. But mainstream media knows how to spin the news. Trump isn't against that. We're not against people coming over here trying to have a better life or seeking asylum from war. We're against MS-13 gang members that not only came to America bringing their violence and drugs into the neighborhoods, into the prisons, but they also infiltrated the police departments and they were killing up indigenous people that are classified as Black. Okay, you've been following me long enough to know that African American, that whole terminology has to do with is a categorization of produce and meats. It's not a categorization of people. Look it up. And Black is a legal standing, a standing in law that means that you have the standing of a slave, that you have no power, no rights. So we're not Black and not African American. You're indigenous to America. That's why Trump said to these people that said they were Indians, they don't look like Indian to me. I don't know what you thought, but they sure ain't Indian. Because they weren't. The classification of the so-called Negro colored person used to be indigenous, used to be Indian. But then Walter Plecker and people that's part of the Census Bureau and some of the other people that came to colonize all of us all over the planet, that some of them aren't even human, changed the classification of the indigenous people from Indian and indigenous they changed it to colored, Negro, nigger, Black, African America, et cetera, et cetera. So a lot of these people that are here now, that have sought refuge here are now classifying themselves as American or getting American citizenship. But you all know the original American was the so-called Negro. If you look up the 1828 Webster's definition of American, 1828 Webster's definition of American, it will say the copper-colored races found here by Europeans, but now applied to Europeans. But now that we're all here, we're fighting to keep America safe. We're fighting to keep our jobs, to keep our neighborhoods safe. We're fighting to keep our wealth. And Trump is saying, if you're here to cause problems, burning our flag, rioting, staging protests because you don't want to go back home, if you're here unlawfully, then you're going to face severe penalties. You're going to be deported. And if you're burning the flag, then you're going to get 1 year of prison time at least. And here's the article that talks about that. I'll leave it in the description section of my Rumble channel. So I just said all that basically to say it's done. Everything is done. We're already free. Okay. We're already experiencing world peace. The currencies have already revalued and been reinstated back to their normal value behind the scenes. It just hasn't made mainstream media. It just hasn't hit the Forex yet because they make sure information comes out as they think people are ready and as you're ready to receive it. Okay, we all have to have a heart that's prepared to receive this massive wealth that's really ours anyway. We all have to have a heart of love. We all have to have a mind to be able to be good stewards of this wealth. And the creator and your highest self knew when that time was. It can be right now if you say it and if we behave in that way. So here is the last thing I want to show you. This is the video of President Trump talking about the Iraqi dinar for those of you that are invested in Iraq. This is a video that says Trump reveals new details on imminent threat from Soleimani. But if you go to about the 12.29 mark, you'll see what he says. Let me see if I can get you there.
Very dishonest, most of them.
Hold on. Before that, he talks about how we made Korea pay us $500 million for protecting them against North Korea. He talks about how we made Saudi Arabia pay us billions of dollars for protecting them. And then he's going to talk about Iraq in 1 minute. Okay, here you go.
Pass, please.
The Iraqi prime minister has notified Mike Pompeo about potential plans, drawing up plans for a U.S. troop withdrawal from Iraq, period. You ran on pulling out of the Middle East. Why not use this opportunity to say, we're done?
I'm okay with it. By the way,
you're okay with removing our troops from Iraq?
That's what they say publicly. They don't say that privately. Because if we leave, that means they're not going to be able to handle it. Why not leave? I'm not so bad with it. You know, when I heard that, I said, I have it down to 5,000 troops.
That was under his first administration, and he said this, okay? This was published 5 years ago.
Many, many troops there in Iraq. And we're there only in a training. We train them. But if they'd want us to leave, but they speak different publicly than they do privately.
But aren't we sending more troops to the region as we speak?
We're sending more to Saudi Arabia, and Saudi Arabia is paying us for it. You know, we're doing something that nobody's ever done. I said to Saudi Arabia, we have a very good relationship with Saudi Arabia. I said, listen, you're a very rich country. You want more troops? I'm going to send them to you, but you've got to pay us. They're paying us. They've already deposited $1 billion in the bank. We are going to help them, but these rich countries have to pay for it. South Korea gave us $500 million. They never gave us it. They gave us $500 million. I said, you got to help us along. We have 32,000 soldiers in South Korea protecting you from North Korea. You've got to pay. And they gave us $500 million. I mean, you sort of have breaking news because nobody wants to report that stuff. I'm not sure anybody knows it. I might be sort of saying it. You have some, I mean, it's good stuff. But they're a wealthy country. They build all your television sets. They took that away from us. They build the ships. They build a lot of things. I said, look, we're protecting you. You got to pay. They paid us $500 million. They're going to pay us a lot more.
Do you think that Iraq should repay the American taxpayer for these bases, for what we've done there?
You heard that from me,
yeah,
okay?
I know, will we?
I said we built one of the world's most expensive airport facilities anywhere in the world. I mean, I wish we had it in New York. I wish we had it in Washington. We built runways that are 15,000 feet long. At LaGuardia, they're 7,000 feet long. In fact, I think they're 20,000 feet long over there, and deep, thick concrete and steel. Nobody ever built runways like this. Okay, it was way overbuilt, but that's okay. But we have billions of dollars into that. I said, if we leave, you got to pay us. If we leave, you have to pay us for embassies. You have to pay us for the money we put in.
How are you going to collect?
Well, we have a lot of their money right now. We have a lot of their money. We have $35 billion of their money right now sitting in an account. And I think they'll agree to pay. Otherwise, we'll stay there.
You hear that?
Mr. President, thanks so much for being with us.
I think Iraq will agree to pay. Otherwise, we'll stay there, is what he said under his first administration. And he said, how much we do say? 35 billion of their money sitting in our accounts right now. Earlier in the podcast, I showed you, this is breaking news. Just in 2 days ago, it was announced that the United States suddenly decided to withdraw all its forces from Ain al-Assad and Victoria military bases in Iraq ahead of schedule. You heard Trump said, we're going to stay there. They're going to pay us. Otherwise, we're going to stay there. But now you see, we're pulling out our equipment. We're pulling out our military. That means that they've paid us. They've paid the military, and we already have 35 billion of their money in our accounts back then, 5 years ago or years ago under Trump's administration. You see how it's all coming together, family? You heard him talk about how they built up we built up the infrastructure. We built up their airports that, in Iraq that rival anything we had in New York. Why did we rebuild it? Because I told you, the United States Incorporated had control over the world. They had financial and economic hegemony, and they made the United States dollar the world reserve currency. How? By having an alliance with Saudi Arabia, give us our oil in exchange for us protecting your kingdom. And we will force all nations to get oil from you, Saudi Arabia, using the dollar. If nations didn't do that, we would declare war on those nations, or we would sanction them. Totally decimate and destroy their country, their infrastructure, decimate their value of their dollar or their currency. And then people high up in the military, corporate banking executives, prelates, and prime ministers, presidents would buy those countries' currencies that have been devalued through war. After the war, we would go back into those countries, rebuild the infrastructure, the airports, the railroads, everything. That's what he was talking about. We rebuilt Iraq's, what he said, their airports that rival anything we have in New York. He's telling you, it's done. We rebuilt everything. Then what would happen? Then they would reinstate their country's currencies back to the pre-war value or pre-sanctioned value. And people who held on to those countries would go to the bank. It's a simple exchange with the new rate and become millionaires and billionaires overnight. That's going to be you and me. What currencies? Put it in the chat, family. We know it's Iraqi dinar, Iran, Afghanistan. Do your research. Venezuela. Look at all the nations that have been destroyed through war. Okay, but there was a secret agreement behind the scenes that all nations, 209 nations at least, plus would do what? The secret agreement, I've been reporting this for years. We call it Project Sandman. The secret agreement was, when triggered, all nations would stop trading with the United States dollar and return to using their own country's currencies backed by silver and gold. What was the trigger? When triggered, they would stop trading with the dollar. What was the trigger? The trigger was Vladimir Putin going over to uncover all the stuff that was going on in military bases, deep underground military bases in Ukraine. When Putin did that, they called the Ukrainian war. That was the signal, okay? Because what happened in response to him uncovering all of Biden's and all these other nefarious family members' activities with the drug trafficking, sex trafficking, creating viruses and illnesses to have another reset, which we know about the reset, the Anunnaki and the custodians and all these extraterrestrials that have an ought against or hate humans because we have the God spark, because we are God, because we are source, because we can emote, we have feelings, we know how to love, we can do everything that they can't do. They were jealous. They were angry. They hated that. Okay. So they created certain things to keep us vibrating at a low function. But Vladimir Putin uncovered all the stuff that was going on in Ukraine. In response, Biden put sanctions on Vladimir Putin. And he told all nations not to trade with Russia. But Vladimir Putin clapped back back. He started trading with his own ruble, his own currency. That's why this happened in 2022, the Ukrainian war. Look it up. That's why in 2022, the Russian ruble became the strongest performing currency in the world because his clapback was, I don't need the United States dollar to trade. You can put sanctions on me. I don't care if nobody does business with me. I'll trade using my own Russian ruble. It became the strongest performing currency in the world in 2022. Then he took to his platform, went to the BRICS conference, Brazil, Russia, because he's from Russia, Brazil, Russia, India, China, South Africa, the BRICS conference, and told all other nations to do the same. He said, use my currency first, the Russian ruble, for trade, and then use your own country's currency for trade, backed by the resources that you have in the country and backed by silver and gold. So that was the trigger. Putin was the trigger. Project Sandman again, secret agreement between 209 plus nations that when triggered, stop trading with USD and use their own country's currencies backed by precious metals. This is why King's World came up with the article February 16, 2023, that the world is hurtling back towards gold as money. And they even mentioned or alluded to how this was a move by Russia to put a new trade settlement currency into place, and possibly they said the ruble as well. Possibly, again, this was published in 2023 of February. No, it wasn't no possible. It happened in 2022, which is why the Russian ruble became the strongest performing currency in the world. Putin was the trigger. That's why they tell you to hate Russia. They've been telling you to hate Russia since I was a child. They would tell us we had these things we would do, these drills in elementary school, where they would put out this loud siren, and we would run as children. It had us living in abject fear. We would hide underneath the desk. The Russians are coming to get us. They're going to drop bombs. We didn't even know why. That's how much they hate us, not people, but these beings that enslave the planet, causing us to hate each other. So they would put out these sirens. We would run underneath our desk like a desk could protect you from nuclear weapons, or we would run to the basement, or we'd run to the closet where you keep your coats, and we would duck down with our hands over our head, cover our heads, crying because the Russians were coming to get us. People would build underground bases, and they had fallout shelters where you could run from the Russians, and they stored food there and blankets and people that could afford it, and canned goods. And if they didn't have it there, they would put it in their basement or put it in their cabinets or a closet, because the Russians were coming against us. Why? Because Putin, that family, Vladimir, look at Mir is Moor, same thing. His bloodline is Moorish. Okay. He's always known who God's people were. This isn't about color. It's about the real humans, those of us that have source, the God spark. He's from a bloodline. Some people say the Romanov bloodline as well, that knew about the Anunnaki, the custodians, and all these extraterrestrials that were enslaving us. He also knew about the biblical characters and how they all were heavily melanated. That's why Vladimir Putin unleashed and unopened vaults that said the people in America that are indigenous need to wake up and know that the biblical characters and the biblical stories and the stories about Jesus, the ascended master, and some of these wealth and that's been stored up for decades come through a certain bloodline. Putin was the trigger to wake up people and tell them, stop trading with the United States dollar, stop acting like mere mortals, and know that you're God, know that you're sovereign, know that you're wealthy. Take upon yourself to use your own country's currency backed by precious metals for trade. And that, my darlings, is why nation after nation started joining the BRICS bloc. And in 2021, 2022, 85% of the global population had joined BRICS. That means they were trading with their currency backed by gold or outright trading with silver and gold in 2022, but they didn't tell you this. I told people, I brought Andy Scheckman, the CEO of Miles Franklin Precious Metals Company, to back me up and confirm this, and he did. And speaking of him, again, for those of you who are asking, if you want to get in on this greatest wealth transfer, you can get currencies and or get silver and gold. Go to your local coin dealer, establish a relationship with them. I've done it. I have videos. I publish it that I have conversations where I told you about the conversations with my precious metals dealer and what they said. You can contact Andy Sheckman at Miles Franklin at 952-929-7006 or send an email to info@milesfranklin.com. Let them know you heard about silver and gold from Dr. Kia Pruitt or you knew about it yourself and you desire to roll over United States dollar into precious metals because precious metals maintain their value. Precious metals hold their value and increase in value. This is why central banks have been buying up gold in record numbers over the last few decades. They're preparing for the global currency reset and revaluation of currencies. And having said that, family, I'm going to give myself a rest. Stop talking so much. Tell you all, thank you for joining me. And welcome to Chief of the Soul Tribe. Sorry, Chief. That was an hour and 15 minutes of intel, but welcome. So
You be going in.
thank you, Chief. I've been gone a long time. I had a lot to say.
Yeah. People miss you, wanted to hear from you, but you needed a break
Thank you, Chief.
to re-up. I talked to a plethora of people all across the world,
Yes,
and they
sir.
just wanted to. You and I both needed a reset. Everybody needed a reset, and during the reset, you need time to yourself. But what I wanted to say, guys, is that Dr. Kidd, you were saying that you don't have a problem with other nations coming here and want to live a life, with not having needs and wants. But I have a problem. I have a problem with the United States corporation bringing other nations here
Yes,
with
sir.
with an understanding of bringing them here to steal our inheritance and put us at the bottom. I have a problem with that. And that's what the United States corporation was doing because the United States corporation is a foreign entity within America that's bringing other foreign entities here to live off our inheritance. And how are they living off our inheritance? I'm going to tell you guys something. This is why America leads in everything derogatory. Everything derogatory. You got the biggest prison population, the worst health. Our food is worse than any other place in the world. All of this. And the reason being is because if America is the worst, why is it the worst? They want it to be the worst because that's how they can be the fiduciary over your spiritual state and your physical state by making everything so bad here that they get to capitalize off of your ignorance. So how do these other nations of people get to come here and within 2 or 3 years they're living their heaven on earth because heaven is supposed to be earth because hell is earth. And it all depends on where your mind and the level of thinking is and your frequencies are. You can manifest your reality on earth. But they told you to wait till you get that pie in the sky or that you're going to go to hell when people on earth are living a hell on earth right now.
For real.
So well, I'm going to tell you guys something. When the other people are brought to America, let's say if somebody transitioned in your family, the physical man and woman, the fleshly part of them transition, but there's a fictitious, artificial, straw man version of this person that always lived. And that is an account that has been set up at birth that many of you have found out about, which they call this so-called the Social Security trust account that was started at birth. That's when the birth certificate came about, the Social Security card came about. When the person actually transitioned, that estate is still open. So guess what they're doing? The other people who come here, they are pulling the interest off that estate and giving that to these people to live their most amazing life.
Wow.
This is what they're doing. The interest because they can't touch the principal, but that interest on that $500 million account is accruing interest. And they're pulling the interest off there. And this is what they're giving to these other nations when they come here with nothing in their pockets. And they got a dry cleaners, a jewelry store,
Yep.
a restaurant, gas station, and they're brought here as infiltration. I'm sorry, and this is for entertainment purposes, as infiltration for the United States corporation. Because they're feeding us the beds, food, the dry cleaners are lacing your clothes with poison, and they're feeding you the bed. Everything is outdated and laced, and they're feeding that to the people. Putting, he found out that it was for entertainment purposes only, that the Arabs, these guys on this gas station, were putting dope on the streets. This is why you go in any major city and you see these so-called dope boys standing in front of the gas station or in front of these convenience stores owned by these guys from the east. It's because they're putting it on the streets. Now, so that's what I have a problem. I have a serious problem with that. Because when you pull money out of our communities to the point that the money doesn't get a chance to be currency in our community, we don't get to build our parks up. The police don't respect us. The people in our neighborhood selling us stuff don't even respect us, because they're saying that the people that had it all, how they could be so ignorant and still arguing and bicker with each other. They're saying that. So what we are experiencing right now, there's a mass awakening happening on the earth right now. And it just hit my spirit. They gave you guys religion, and I hope you guys can pull out of religion, because it indoctrinates you and it keep you from receiving the truth. But that so-called rapture, there will never, ever be a rapture that'll happen in the sky where people be caught up in the air. The rapture is the Christ-minded people on earth who are bringing redemption to people, who have an open heart, who've gotten rid of the hate, envy, malice, and jealousy out of your heart. That is the rapture is going to come for those who are deserving of it. Because there are those of us sent here to be those savior and salvation to the planet. So that rapture, so-called rapture, is happening now. It's happening now. And this is why, even though, Dr. Kia, you said that Jubilee is happening, the 50-year Jubilee, but the very purpose of why they passed out the Jim Jones shoes was to try to get people to recontract with the B system. See, they can only do it, but they're doing it through trickery. But you should be beyond that. They are trying, like the real ID is to bind you with this new system. It's to give them fiduciary jurisdiction over your estate. When I say fiduciary responsibility, that's in the private we call it fiduciary, in the public we call it power of attorney. So you're giving these people power of attorney over you, not only your physical estate but your spiritual estate. So you're gonna have to find a way to get yourself out of recontracting with them. If you got that real ID and stuff like that. See, through paperwork, they tied us to the B system, and through paperwork, unfortunately, we're gonna have to remove ourselves out of the B system. That's what you're saying, bringing yourself out of minor status, because they have us in a minor status, and you can't handle your own affairs. So this is why you need a government, because government is control. Man is short for mental, so controlling your capabilities of your mental capacity of thinking. So they gave you religion, they gave you entertainment, they gave you politics, and they gave you education. And anything that is pushed on the masses is something that is indoctrinating you out of your inheritance. Period. The world was turned over to the adversary, and they had a 1,000-year run. And 1,000-year run. So we are going through a major reset, a universal reset, and which is a supernatural spiritual reset to a worldly reset. It's happening now.
Yes.
And that means that we are shifting from the 3D dimension, the three-dimensional, over into the fifth dimension. And those of you who are trapped into three-dimensional, going to have some dangerous, tough days ahead of you. Because why? Because that means that if you're left over in three-dimensional, you're still holding on to the old world, which is religion, entertainment, politics, and education.
Mm.
And you're going to see that people who are still tied to that right now are going to have some tough days ahead of you. That means that they can toy with you and still trick you to give them the energy that they need to maintain people who are still left in 3D.
Mm.
It's those of us who have let go of all religion, the entertainment fields, politics, and education. We have that stuff right there is not gonna be successful doing that. So this is why I keep on telling people, yeah, this is a test we're going through. That any and everything that you do is being jotted down, written, and recorded. Not say there have been many resets. That means that there was a world that existed before this world. And this world was the ancient Tartarian. And this world is when Titans once roamed the earth. These giants. And they were bickering with each other. They were fighting amongst each other. And a power so mighty and strong ended everything in an instant like that. And those Titans and those giants that once lived in that world before us are many of us right now that have been incarnated back into these smaller bodies. But they don't want you to know about that. They want to give you that there's a heaven. There have been many different resets. And that means that these entities, they got one Titan that was on his knees with his hands called the praying giant. Was praying. And these things are all over the whole world, but the people, the entities who rule this world, they control what they put on TV. So these things are happening. So, if you guys can't let go of religion, and you can't let go of envy, malice, jealousy, and hate in your heart. So your heart going over to 5D has to be light as a feather. And so you can live your most amazing life right now. And I'm telling you right now, if you don't, right now, you need to be finding out. And for those that may be listening to this, to those that are ear hustling and sneaking in and not giving people credit, you better clean your hearts. Because we have an opportunity to give that savior and salvation to our family members who are going to be reborn back into the system. We can set the parameters up for them. So when we have our trust set up and everything, that when they are born into, we got to be the teachers up on the earth right now. We got to teach our people how to live in trust. We have to do that. So this is why all the while I've been saying how to clean your hearts. That's why I've been saying the purge unrighteousness and the wickedness from you. I've been saying that, and pretty soon you guys will really, really see. And people who have been on the forefront of preaching this message, like the Rod Hayes, Dr. Kia, myself, other people, Drea, other people that's been pushing this truth out like that, we got attacked the most. But guess what? We're gonna be on the top of the food chain. When it's all said and done,
yes,
we're gonna be on the top of the food chain in our families. That everybody that judged us, that laughed at us, that talked about us, that ridiculed us, that persecuted us, because what we're doing when you putting out this kind of message like that, the enemy in people, it causes them to be, monitoring spirits. That possession is increasing in the earth. They're trying to attack the righteous, and the righteous are not attached to any type of religion. The righteous exude with a certain frequency and vibration, and so we are going to be put in a position that's going to baffle a lot of people. Many of you who are listening to this right here, are going to be put in such a high standards right now. Just keep the faith, because what's happening is that for This hadn't happened in a long time, that people
Mm.
are vibrating at the same frequencies. Whether you're white, black, whatever nationality or nation you are, the world is vibrating at such a high vibration. It's causing the shift to happen. It's causing it. So we're going to win at being high vibration when the people operating at a low vibration. You're going to lose tremendously, man.
Mhm.
You're going to lose tremendously. So I advise people to clean your hearts right now, because this is what's happening. For those of you who don't have your trust or have things set up, you want to go ahead and try to get this stuff done. If you have any foreign currency, uh, you want to try to have yourself set up in the private, because they're going to try to take at least 27 to 37% from you.
Wow.
Well, the IRS, they're not going to allow people to get that kind of money and not still have their hands in the cookie jar. Yes, the United States corporation is dissolving, but they're not going out without a swing, period.
Right.
Change don't happen unless a war happens. And that's a spiritual war happening first. And that spiritual war, I posted my page last week, about a week ago, about 2:45, 2:40 in the morning. I woke up to a banging sound hitting real hard,
Hmm.
and it shut the lights off. It
Wow.
turned back on in the house, and I woke up. When I looked out the bedroom window, I mean, it was like somebody was just taking a light switch and doing like this. It was just lightning outside like crazy. The wind was blowing hard, and it hit my spirit. I said, "There's a holy war going on in the sky.
Mm. Mm.
There's a holy war going on in the sky." And I
I
said,
was trying.
"Guys, it's time to get our hearts right." I'm so glad that I have a level of humility and righteousness in me. I'm so glad that I'm not indoctrinated. I'm so glad that certain things happened in my life to keep me where I am today, because it was all by divine intervention.
Chief, you said we need to get our affairs in order and live in the private. Can you tell us what do you mean by get your affairs in order? And if we need help with that, what do we do?
Well, when I say get your affairs in order, many of you have they said that to travel you need the real ID, and you don't need that. You don't want these people taking pictures of you, because they taking pictures of you to put in the special biometrics, and so you got this, but you can recant that real ID. You don't have to have a license to have that star on it. You can go in there and let them know, I want a regular license. I don't want one with a star on it.
Mm.
But you can travel. You can travel with the diplomatic passport. Even if you don't have the diplomatic passport, not just a regular passport, but a 5-star, a diplomatic passport
Wow.
that takes you out of citizenship and make you a state national. And when that happens, it puts you on the do not detain list. There are there's steps and things that one would have to do to do that. I've done it. You want to probably look into getting your birth certificate authenticated in your home state you were born in. You would simply take that in to the Secretary of State, and there's some other things that you want to do that. Then once you do it on the state level, you do it on the federal level. And once you do it on the federal level, that will make you full of faith and credit. And you will get a certain number attached to your own bond paper saying that you are full of faith and credit. Then that authentication of your birth certificate on the state and federal will have to go into the application process of you getting your diplomatic passport. You need to have that in there with some other items to give you the highest standard, making you diplomatic. That make you a state national. You don't want to be a citizen, because as we say, that citizens sit in sin, guys. Citizens sit in sin. There's no benefits in being a citizen. And this is why the other nations come over here and live the way they live. Once you do these things, then you want to make everything private, meaning that you want to take everything that was given to you freely and you want to establish everything all over again, meaning that you want a private box, not a regular mail, having mail come to your home, because having mail come to your home puts you in their jurisdiction.
Mm.
The first thing they ask you, what's your address? That puts you in their jurisdiction. So you want to get you a private box, either a private PO box, a private UPS box, and you want to UPS box, you can put that address on your license, because it is dangerous to sit there and have your place of dwelling on your license or ID, and with your picture on it, and you drop your license or ID, you got a creep to get it and know where you stay. That's dangerous. The rich don't and wealthy don't do that. So since many of us are going to be wealthy and rich, and that starts with mindset. Did you know you don't put anything when you lay your head down on a piece of plastic for you to misplace or get stolen, where somebody can come to your doorsteps? You don't do that. So this is why I'm saying we have to learn how to live in the private. And those that have done business with me, people are tremendously happy with me because I'm reachable. If you spending money with me, did you get my undivided attention? Because that tells me how serious you are. And this is such a serious age that we're going into right now, because me doing this is not just about me, and it shouldn't be just about you. It's many of us are doing the 508c1a irrevocable trust, which is set up as a ministry and a foundation. And all of us should have a ministry and a foundation. That's what we were sent here for, to be each other's savior and salvation, to pull each other by the coat, to be falling and pull us up to live our most amazing life. And the world is starting to switch toward that right now. And that's what we should be doing. So my life ain't just about my life. My life is here so that I can go back and reach those that love me, and being able to help them out in a righteous way to bring happiness. And so I have my immediate family. I'm doing this for them. For my offspring, I'm doing this for her. You know, and those that are attached to me in that righteous way, I'm doing this for you guys. And this is what we should be doing. So if a lot of people are doing what I am doing, Dr. Kia doing, what Rod Hayes is doing, while a lot of people out there are giving themselves and doing right now, then the world will be such a better place. And that's what we need to do. We need to operate in trust, have our foundation set up, come together under one authority, give amongst each other, get the homeless off the street, create jobs for people. When the Bible was talking about, when Trump had pardoned, Larry Hoover, the whole thing about that was to let us know that the indigenous people are about to be let out of jail. That is a trend. And they didn't even talk about it in the Bible. Saying, but the people America leads the whole world with people in prison. And the people in prisons are the so-called melanated men and women in here. Why? It's because we are POWs. We are prisoners of war in our own land. So I have a problem with that. And if you don't have a problem with that, then something's wrong with you. If you don't have a problem with that, because if these atrocities and injustice was being done to you, then I would be that man. I would have a problem with it. So you should have a problem with that in terms of the indigenous rightful emperors and emperors and their own land. This is why we're in the prison, because we are at war, and that war is ending. And this beast system is nervous about that. Yeah, the war is ending. They're nervous about that because they thrive off of chaos. Our chaos is their happiness. They love murder, killing, us fighting amongst each other. And I'm talking about all of that. That right there is music to their ears, because they make money off of that. You're dizzy. They get to be your fiduciary because you're still bickering back and forth and selling from an account, and a trust account that you are the rightful heir, the grantor, and the beneficiary of. But they made you a minor, created a straw man, an artificial you, so they can tap into your estate, and everything that you buy is paid for up front, and they charge you 100% interest and stick their hands in the cookie jar. And then this is why people are losing their minds crazy, because they robbing Peter to pay Paul when it was all paid for in Calvary. Then Reverend Ike said it was all paid for. They played in your face, because Reverend Ike had operated in the private.
Before you go on, Chief, before you go on, you're talking about operating in the private, having your own box, etc. If a person wants to learn how to do that, how do they contact you so that you can help them live in a private and help them create a trust? The 508c1a, I think you mentioned.
Well,
how do they contact you?
Well, they would reach me through email at this Unity in Motion, UNITYINMOTION 45@yahoo.com. You email,
Okay.
you're going to pay a consultation fee because I'm not trying to talk to any and everybody. And I say that. You can call, you can reach out to me there, and I'll get in contact with you. Like I've gotten in contact with a lot of different people, and I'm so happy that a lot of people are so happy because they're seeing progress and things being done. And I'm explaining to them. I've learned some things. I'm not the smartest guy, but I'm a very resourceful man. You know, I've learned some things. I move in honor because I'm happy from the inside out because I see remedy happen in my life, and I'm here to bring remedy to those who are serious about it. You know, so you can reach out to me, email me there, and then you're gonna pay a $75 consultation fee, and then
Okay.
trust me, when that happens right there, we're gonna roll our sleeves up. I've recently had like 3 or more people that call me, reach out to me, and they ready to roll. Because you get these funds, the money. When you get these, this is not a lottery win. It's not a lottery win. You get these funds, you need to know how and what you need to do with these credits, because the credits are going to come from that trust account, and this is why they're doing biometrics, because these credits are going to come from that trust account, and they're going to put it in your estate, your trust account as money to the bitcoins or like XRP. They're going to be an account as XRP.
Okay.
That's what they're going to convert those credits into XRP in your estate, and you want to be able to know what you need to do with these credits. That's a way you can live off the interest without even touching the principal. We need to know these things. It's very important, and I know what to do, and I know these things right there. So if you're serious about it, right now is the time. You want to be taking anything that you can get and getting either some silver, some gold, some foreign currency, some XRP. Now is the time to do that. If you, I'm not a financial advisor, but if you have any 401k is a Ponzi scheme. No, your job is not matching you every dollar at all. Period. This is why if you go to pull it, then it goes down to just a fraction of what you thought it was going to be, because they never invested anything. They fool you. They use your funds to enrich themselves in stocks and money, and they're actually fractionalizing your 401k for their benefit. So we got to be a lot wiser than that right now. If you have any 401k, pull it. If you have anybody I had talked to one lady, she said that she had this financial advisor who was trying to talk her out of pulling her money. I say, ask her that, get your right now. Because what he's doing with your money, he don't want you to know that. Pull that, and right now, and you can turn that into millions upon millions of dollars right now. That's the time we have. So we're living in an incredible time right now, guys. An incredible time right now where you don't have to rob Peter to pay Paul, where you don't have to look over to your left and your right at what somebody else had, but what you got right now. You can drive whatever car you want. You can have a house paid for. We don't do mortgage, because mortgage means debt pledge. Okay, then you can make those who are close around you be happy by ending them having to ever work a job again, which the job stands for just over broke, and the job is actually slavery. Why is that? Slavery is anytime you're performing labor for free. You're working for free with your job. Why is that? Because they're paying you from your trust account that started at birth. You get paid out of that. So you're working for free. It's time to wise up so we can rise up, brothers and sisters. So
You got any time for? Go ahead. You have any time for questions, Chief?
Sure.
Thank you, Chief. PW Lily 1 says, has anyone noticed that your name and address on the mail has stopped coming in all caps? And what's that about? They said that I did notice on one piece of mail. I was like, I can't remember who it was from. I think it was somebody trying to give me business credit. My name wasn't in all caps.
Yeah, that was gonna come from your trust right there. It was a uppercase and lowercase right there. But you don't want any mail. You shouldn't be having any mail come to your home address at all. Period.
It should be coming to a post office box or you said UPS box.
Yeah, you should have any mail coming to your home address at all. Period. It's all about jurisdiction. You should have that come. Should stop that immediately.
And if you want it, so it's all about jurisdiction again. Chief Mack will help you with that. He'll help you understand how to get out of their jurisdiction and how to create a trust and other avenues so that you can operate in your sovereign capacity. You can either send him, this is where you'll be sending him your consultation fee. But if you just want to support Chief Mack, you can send him a cash app at $Allen Judah 47. That's $ALLENJUDAH. But to contact him for consultation and or private trust, email him at UNITYINMOTION45 That's Unity in Motion 45 at yahoo.com for private consultation, to learn about how to live in the private, how to create a trust. He was also a personal trainer of athletes and stars,
Right.
celebrities. So, if you want to talk to him about health and, he might be able to create some type of plan for you. Give him a call or email him at unityemotion45 at yahoo.com. Also, if you're interested in cell repair, many of us have gotten sick with all of these chemtrails and food poisoning. And some people were forced to take the during the 2020 shutdown because you had to work or you wanted to be around your family. Chief Mack sells patches that will help. Is it to regenerate your cells? Stem cell repair. Talk to him about that. He can help you get that. He does a lot of things in terms of health, finances, because your health is wealth. Help teaching you how to protect your health, how to protect your wealth through a private trust. I talked to a lawyer friend of mine who creates public trust, and how people say it's operating in private, but it's not the 508. He does the other trust, but he told me that the 508c18 is the most powerful document in the world. That's what a lawyer told me, an attorney with Esquire behind his name. Chief Mack will help you with that trust. So give him, a shout at unityemotion45 at yahoo.com. Okay, here's something else, Chief. What about mail from the mortgage company? I don't know what that question is, Sister Valdi. Are you asking if it comes to should that come to your house, or can that come to a private?
The guys know. And hey, Val. Val is a good dear friend of mine. But Val, under any circumstances, should any mail come to your home address, period, under any circumstances at all. So this is what you heard Trump said, well, they tell us things in the private, with things that are told in the private. He said he was telling you about public and private.
He sure said that in the video.
The things that are spoken out in the public ain't what's happening in the private. So what's spoken out in the public is a smoke screen. It's a smoke screen. It's the private that is really happening. This is why less people know about the private, because if you know how to operate in the private, you're going to be successful. You're going to miss a lot of chaos. So
yeah, he was talking about Iraq. He said they tell you one thing in the public, but that's not what they say in private.
Exactly. This is why, the secrets are, so-called secrets are held in private, but secrets are not secrets when you're tapped in, So that's what I keep on telling you guys, that anything that is given freely is a trap. It is a trap.
Here's another question. Oh, go ahead.
Go ahead.
If there's not an IRS, do you still use their forms and classifications like the 501c3?
I just said that. Here's what people don't know: the IRS has a public side of it, and the IRS also have a private side. Okay. So the IRS they do business with people in the private, and they do business with people in the public. So when you let the IRS know that you are private on who you are, then they handle and deal with you accordingly. They become your friend. Okay, and so it's not so scary, because you let them know whether you want to continue to be a slave or not. Slavery is a choice, like so-called Kanye. They put this stuff in your face and make games. The IRS is not such a big scary, because they're going to do what you tell them to do, whatever your frequencies and vibrations are. So in the private sector, taxes are a credit.
Mm.
It's not a debt. It's only a debt to those in the public. You pay the lifestyle for the people in the private, man.
Wow.
So I'm just telling you. So this is why public and private is so important. Unfortunately, this is what kind of world we in, and it's not the system. It's not broke. It's just fixed a certain way, and you got to be able to play in the game. You're here. If we're in Rome, you do what Romans do. We're here, and if you have people that need you, unfortunately, it takes fiat currency. It takes money right now, whether it's credits. Right now, it's fiat currencies. It's soon to be gone. If you have children, you have people that need you right now. You are careful about what comes out your mouth and how you behave, because how you behave and what comes out your mouth can affect those you love, man. So guard your tongue, man.
Thank you, Chief. And another question is, what is the best exchange to buy foreign currencies? This person says, I'm new to this. Thank you for joining us. Thank you for listening, and thank you for that question. Good, and good for you for taking the information and desiring to do something to change the trajectory of your life and your bloodline. So, what's the best place to get current foreign currency?
See, this is beautiful when we have new people, man, and these
Mm-hmm.
new people are excited, and I'm excited for you. You know, so far the cheapest foreign currency is the Vietnamese dong.
That
There are
is
others
true.
out there, but let's say you got about you got $300 or $400 can yield you. Oh, if you got $300, that can yield you over $3 million worth of dong. Guys, they basically telling you guys that redemption is here.
Mm-hmm. They're telling us.
There's so many people working a 9-to-5 job who make a six-figure, don't even have it, don't even think that you have to pay yourself for. When people get paid, over 95% of the people that get paid a job from a job, they get paid to pay bills.
Yeah.
You get paid, and the first thing is on your mind: I got to pay this mortgage, I got to pay this
Okay.
rent, I got to pay this insurance, I got to pay this car note. I gotta pay, the food. I got all this right there. Instead of saying that, let me pay myself. You should be taking, some monies and investing it in something every time you get paid. You should be paying yourself, but you're not doing it. Then they trick you and say that, oh, get your savings account. And a savings account is one of the most dangerous things to do, because when you saving your money, inflation is still in it, and they're gonna tax you for the rich to live off of. When you should be taking that savings account, and the rich don't save money, because saving money means that's a dead man's way of thinking.
If the rich don't save the money, what do they do with it?
Shit, they put their monies in commodities and things that got currency and moving. Either in real estate, land, gold, silver, that money is steady moving. That money is moving. It's supposed to be a currency for a reason. You don't just put your money in the bank and let it sit
Oh,
like that.
currency,
It's supposed to be moving.
flow.
Flow.
Current flow is
Your
moving.
money supposed to be flowing. Then you're supposed to do that so that you can diversify your money. But they don't teach that.
You said that to me this morning. Even water is not supposed to sit still, so money's not supposed to sit still.
No, water not supposed to be sit still. Yeah. People drinking dead water, you're living a dead life, and we gotta unlearn to relearn on how to live a living life, to live a life of prosperity, health, wealth, longevity, happiness, trueness. Then we gotta come out of that public way of thinking, because the public way of thinking got you fighting against your brothers and sisters, got you fighting against the man in you, the women in you. It's got you fighting yourself. Well, you don't even like yourself, or don't like others that don't look like you. You seem to thrive with people that's doing bad like you, and we got to come out of that.
So, Chief, they were asking. So, you talked about the Vietnamese dong. You said it's one of the least expensive currencies. Yeah. Then, of course, we know about the Iraqi dinar, the Venezuelan bolivar, etc. They were wondering, where can they get it?
I went to Bank Note World. I talked to William. I actually talked to William, and you put it in it like that. You can get you should get that. You'll have your foreign currency on your person. You receive it within 3 days, 3 or 4 days tops. Own your currency.
Banknoteworld.com, family.
Yeah.
Another one
And-
is 100 trillions, 100trillions.com. You can also go to eBay because Banknote World sells their currency on eBay cheaper or less expensively. Safe Dinar is a website, and then you can just go Google it, go online. GreatAmericanCoinCompany.com. They sell coins, gold and silver, as well as foreign currencies. And there are other websites as well. Just Google
right.
it. But Banknote World is a very popular, reputable company.
And
World.
And just so people know, if you have been gifted some foreign currency through somebody else right there, guys, that's not a good thing, because when you go in these banks to redeem that, they're going to ask you, where's your receipt? Where's any type of information showing that you purchased this right here? Because they want to make sure that you are the rightful owner of that note. The thing about purchasing your own foreign currency is that you're going to get a letter of authenticity with your name on it, stating that you purchased this right here. And that's, if you go in that bank without that, you may be creating problems for yourself. Because they know the money's for the company or state. So that's why they're very careful about who walks in there with this currency. So if you just call yourself to stole somebody's currency, snuck it like that, and think you're going to walk in the bank and redeem it, you're fooling yourself. It's not going to happen.
Thank you, Chief. Chief, we need to wrap up because I have to go pick up my grandchildren. Okay. But can you tell everybody where they can reach you or how they can contact you?
Oh, yeah. Once again, Unity in Motion 45 at yahoo.com. That's UNITYIN Motion 45 at yahoo.com. You can email me there, and then I'm going to prompt you on the steps or make the consultation payment. So you got to make that consultation payment. I'm not trying to be on the phone with any and everybody, wasting my time.
Right.
It's not going to happen. Now
somebody also, go ahead.
Go ahead. I'm not going to waste my time.
No, go ahead. You first, Chief.
I'm not going to waste my time just giving out that's on the phone with folks like that. I'm not here to be your friend. I'm here to be your big brother, your uncle, your OG, to let you know what you need to do. And then based on me seeing how well you conduct business, then we can talk and we can laugh. But I'm not here to waste time and just allow the guy on the phone. I'm doing some serious things. I'm making preparations spiritually, mentally, emotionally, and financially right now. So I'm here to help you. Whether you need healing in your body, I've called people, they've been on the verge of breaking down and been able to speak life into them. And we cried on the phone and we got through it, guys.
Because you are the chief of the Soul Tribe. People have literally called you about deaths, needing prayer, finances, needing help, all that. And we appreciate the work that you're doing for the Soul Tribe. Somebody said that they wanted to give to you because you're teaching today. So I'm going to share your Cash App if somebody wants to support your work or just bless the Chief for all of he's been on phone with a lot of Soul Tribe members for hours at a time. You can, if you want to give him a gift, you can reach him via Cash App, $Alan Judah 47. That's $ALLEN JUDAH 47. I do support people that come on my platform, and I appreciate their time, their energy, and efforts. So I believe and I know that it's a good thing to financially support them as well. And again, you can reach him Unity in Motion 45 at yahoo.com. What about social media? Do you want them to reach you there, or you rather they just email you?
Well, my social media is my social media. I have a lot of darling and dear friends on social media. My social media, it's definitely an eye awakening. When you go to my page, it's going to definitely wake you up. Because
it is. I know that to be true. He talks a lot about the pyramids and mounds here, the buildings, just a lot of historical things that's going on in Hollywood, celebrities, because he was a celebrity trainer. Facebook is Judah Allen. You can see him there. He has 36,000 followers. He's gone viral many, many times. So here he is. This is him right here. Very dapper dresser, very big, buff guy. So, people should be an example of what they preach and teach. And he is that. He is a very healthy gentleman. And also I want to take time to thank people, Chief, because people have also blessed me while I've been away.
Okay.
Let me see. They've sent me Cash App blessings. I want to thank you, Chief, because you supported me. You said you wanted to make sure I was okay since YouTube deplatformed me and I wasn't getting paid any longer. And if you all might see some old YouTube channels that I repost, that's just because that channel is demonetized, but I want you to stay informed. Also reach me at Dr. Kia Pruitt on Rumble. But thank you, Sister Angela. Thank you to my sister Sheree, my son Dexter, to Chief Mack, my son Christopher. Thank you to my sister Niteria, my son Douglas. Thank you, Sister Veronica, Sister Trina, Moon, Sister Moon, Jermaine, Sister Everything, Michael, Faith, Mia, Albert, Estrelita, Rodney, and all the people. Also, we're running out of time that have blessed me. If you want to support me via Cash App, you can send a Cash App to $ Mama Kia 13. That's $ MAMAKIA 13. All right, Chief. I'm gonna cut off here in a second. They're gonna cut me off, so because I got it on a timer. Thank you, Chief, for your time. Thank you, Soul Tribe. We love you so much, and I'll call you in a minute, Chief.
Okay, guys.
I'll play this for 10 seconds. Thank you, family.
Dr. Kia Pruitt, shine.